How's everything going, dude? You work today?
Yeah, quarantine kind of sucks boring wise, but I mean, same old for me. I'm in accounting, so I'm working from home. My training is continuing, so that's pretty great. But besides that, I'm just not, commuting 3 hours a day, so it's pretty awesome for me.
Where do you have to go that's 3 hours away?
Well, 3 hours total round trip, but it's in Naperville, so with the
Oh,
traffic,
jeez.
usually, dude, it's horrible with traffic.
Yeah, so community, if you guys don't know, Steve's in my area, which is like 30 minutes south of Chicago, and where he just said is about 45 minutes to an hour. On a good day, in the summertime, you could probably get home and get there a little quicker, but for the most part, it's probably hour plus. So it always
Yeah.
like puts like the biggest monkey wrench in your fucking day when you have to commute. Like I used to commute to Chicago. I used to work on State Street, Michigan Avenue. Um, Dude, you want to talk about year round on the train? Go fuck yourself. Those 8 hour days, 9 hour days, 10 hour days turned into like 14, 15
Right.
hour days. Like it was horrible.
It is, and it just, especially sitting in traffic, that is not how I want to be spending my time. Even though, I could be using it like to my advantage with podcasts and stuff, it's just, it's a complete waste of time. And now that I've been working from home for since quarantine's been 4 weeks, it's the greatest thing in the entire world. I could roll out of bed, do my morning routine, and walk 5 steps, and I'm in my office. Especially my job, I don't see any point having to go back to work because, time's money, obviously, and it's just taken away so much time for me. It's unbelievable.
I think a lot of people might go that route. Like I know of a lot of people now kind of scrambling to get onto the online world if their business wasn't already. And I think, dude, like think of all the overhead you could save if you didn't have a big old office with, 30 employees that had to get there every single day. And just like the productivity would go up tremendously, like as much as I feel like I fall behind sometimes because I am at home, like I'm not going to get you wrong. There is days where like, dude, I don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's me. If I don't have clients that day and I'm like, all right, I need to relax, get my mind right so that I can attack the rest of the week. I feel like a big change is coming after this whole quarantine thing, man.
Yeah, and just like you said, you need that not do shit day
Yeah.
you might need, which is, great for your mental health. Like, if you don't have to go to the office, why waste all these hours to do it? That just fucks you up in the long run.
Yeah, and it's like if people like when people do need those days, like when they work, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, like when you're in that grind, that 9 to 5 grind, you're like 9 to whatever grind that you're doing, especially with commuting. I feel like that weekend sometimes gets away from us, right? We have
Yeah.
life that happens. You have kids, you don't have kids. You have animals, you have birthday parties, you have barbecues. Next thing you know, like we say, it's Monday again. But once you start working for yourself, it's like you don't have to go in that office on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make the decision to recoup so you can attack your weekend and not waste it. I feel like I wish more people would kind of snap into the entrepreneurship life, man. I
And
really do.
and like you said, not everyone is programmed to work that 9 to 5, sit down for 8 hours and grind it out. Everyone's different. You could wake up at 4, work 4 to 6, take a 2 hour break, go on a walk, work out, then work 2 more hours, then eat food, then two more. Who says you have to sit down for that 8 hours completely? That I'll tell you right now, looking at a computer 8 hours a day fucking
No,
sucks. It kills
no.
my fucking eyes. I'm 24 years old and I have the blue light blocking glasses because it hurts my head so much. And then I have to work out before work because I know damn well after work staring at a computer for 8 hours, I'm not going to want to go in the gym and do anything. It just drains you.
That's the biggest thing too. Like when I had my last 9 to 5 and I was working a minimum of 45 hours a week up to 55 hours a week. And then sometimes going in on the weekends, like I have a picture. I always tell my guests, like I'll send you a picture. I have a picture of my last year of CrossFit right before I quit. And that's when I quit my job. You should, I don't look the same. Like my body's like, I'm super lethargic. I'm holding on to a ton of water. It's just stress, like completely stressed out trying to train after work. And that's what let me digress a little bit. I mean, working those days and then running to the gym to train for, at that time, I was pretty competitive in CrossFit for like 2 hours, which, right now, I look back at that and I'm like, no wonder why I felt like shit. No wonder why my testosterone was probably, sitting on the ground, because I felt like garbage because I was so stressed at work that I'm going to the gym. And now that I know, like, I wish I had someone to be like, you need to get the fuck out of the gym. Like, go
Oh, yeah.
home, go rest, and get some 8 hours of sleep.
Especially at that age. You were how old?
That was just 2 years ago, bro.
Right. I'm 24, so I could fucking do it like it's
Oh,
nothing.
yeah,
But when
right.
my time comes, I'm fucked. So I'm going to have to find something closer or something.
Well, at least you have the blue light blocking glasses. Like, I think anybody listening to this that is in front of the computer, you guys need those. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
like while you're on the computer, and then it helps you when you're going to bed too, because you're in front of that light all day long. If you put them on before you go to bed too, and kind of dim down all the lights and get off of your phone, it really helps your circadian rhythm out, dude.
I change everything, my laptop, my phone, everything I put on night mode, because that shit. And then if you put it on night mode and you keep it on there and then randomly switch to off, the night mode off, your eyes will like blow up. It hurts so bad. That's how big of a difference it makes.
Yeah, I was just on I was on Twitter this morning, and I wanted, like, everything's so dark on my Instagram, and I had the blue light on Twitter. I flipped it off to white, and I'm like almost threw my phone. I was like, what the? People look at this phone like that? I couldn't believe it. It was like a punch to the face how white it was.
Yep.
So, hey, man, I want to talk about the elephant in the room now that we kind of get off on a trail here, because I know we can do that. Community, if you don't know Steve, which you probably don't, Steve Stremme, his last name probably rings a bell, because I just had on his brother about 3 or 4 episodes ago, Ross Stremme, and we talked everything S&C and strength and conditioning and everything you name it. Go back and check it out. But Steve, you are the younger brother of the 3 brothers you have, right?
I'm the middle. So Ross is the oldest. He's 26, and then the youngest is 21. So I'm 24.
Man, all you young guys. So how's quarantine going for you, man? Have you skipped a beat, or is there something that let me start with this question. Have you learned anything during this quarantine about yourself or what you're going to take out of this quarantine?
So the first month I found, because no one knows, so I work full time as an accountant, and then I also go to school to be a firefighter. And so before this happened, I was working 8 hours a day. 3 days out of the week, I was going straight from work to school for 4 hours and then coming home and just doing it all over. Saturdays, I got class all day for 9 hours. So my life was just go, 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 go. I was training in the morning, work, eat, go to school, come home, sleep, and that was my schedule. And now my school's online. I'm working from home. I'm not commuting, so it kind of took like a huge 180. I have all this free time, and the past month I found myself, every second I got, I was bored or free, I pick my phone up, I hit up Twitter, I hit up Instagram, I hit up Facebook, and I was like watching Netflix TV shows. I was just wasting my time, just completely wasting it horribly. Like, yeah, sure, I was watching, Jordan Peterson on YouTube sometimes, but that wasn't the case. So then starting May 1st, I deleted all my social media. So what is it? It's May 4th, something like that. And my whole life is switched. I do this every few months. I delete all my social media. But dude, with all this free time without having to go hang out with friends, it's unbelievable. I just bought a book, and it's about 300 something pages. I think I have 10 pages left and I'm finished.
Nice.
My productivity is just shot through the roof in the best way possible, just from the little change of deleting that social media. Because it's for me, for you, it's your job.
Right.
My job has nothing to do with it. For me, it's fun. And it just got to the point where it just taken over my life, this quarantine life, and just, hitting me for the worst.
Do you feel like you're going to come out of this a little bit better than you went into it?
Yeah, I do. Because going into it, I was kind of scared I'd be so bored, because just sitting in my room, twiddling my thumbs, it's kind of scared to be alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're
not used to it. We're not used to it.
It's not easy at all. And especially since I deleted my social media, I'm definitely alone. When I'm, not with my family, not with my girlfriend, it's me. It's me, my thoughts. I could pick up a book, and that's about it. I can't just sit there and mindlessly just scroll through shit just to pass time. And I'm definitely after this month going to come back a lot better without that social media. Because if you think about it, how many times in a day do you pick up your phone just to pick it up and you don't even realize it?
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And I know I'm better than people at it, not picking it up, but it runs your life. And that's all I could say. It runs your life, and you got to put a stop to it somehow. And it's a bitch. That's all.
Yeah, it's tough, man, especially it being my job and everything. I do find myself
Yeah.
picking it up. I pick it up quite a bit. And most of the time when I pick it up, it's almost like my excuse. And I'll call myself out on it right now. It's like my excuse to like not do what I should be doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just like, let's just go ahead and see. So I go ahead and grab it and I look at it really quick. It's like, what am I doing, dude? Just put it down. So I definitely haven't, for this quarantine, like one thing I've been learning is like restrict yourself a little bit. Like I'm putting restrictions on my phone. Like, so we're cooking 3 nights a week. We cook dinner together. So we bought like those every plate boxes, right? Where the box comes, it's got all the recipes in it, all the food in it. You pull it all out when you need it and you cook it, right? Well, it's a really lovely thing because it gets us into the kitchen over a glass of wine. We turn on some Frank Sinatra or some house music that night. And we sit in the kitchen, we cook together, we talk together, and we get away from everything. The rule kind of is when we sit down to eat, take a picture of your food because I know it looks great, and then throw your phone away, and we're going to talk for the next hour and a half to 2 hours. I think that's like a big thing that people need to do, and I hope people are learning from this quarantine, learning to be by yourself. I think that's a big thing. I think we're not by ourselves enough.
Right. And personally, for me, I'm by myself a lot more that I think about it because at work, since I'm an accountant, I'm not. I mean, I have great friends at work. I mean, it's a great atmosphere.
Good.
But a lot of times, I have my headphones in and it's me.
Right.
And I'm not, sitting there talking. It's like a lot of the thoughts are going through my head 8 hours a day, all through the morning. I'm all alone. I go on a walk every morning with my dog, and that's my alone time. It's 4:30 in the morning, pitch black out. The birds are chirping, everybody's sleeping, and it's me and my dog walking for 30 minutes. And it's the greatest thing in the world. I highly recommend people setting aside time every single day for yourself, just to be alone. Put your phone in another room, turn the lights off, and just sit there and think, and just pay attention to your thoughts that are coming up. You'll see your mind is fucking crazy. I want you to sit there for 10 minutes and you won't even be able to count how many thoughts come through your head. It will be
it's wild.
300. Your brain is fucking crazy, and there's so much stimulation nowadays. It's time to relax, and you need to give it to it every day.
I think that's a big thing too. Now we're starting to see that, right? We're going into week 7 or some crazy shit in quarantine, and hopefully it's over at this month, knowing that the next month it's going to be like a lot of restrictions on where we can be and how the gyms are going to be and all these different things. But I think that's another big thought process right now, and people don't want to admit that, like walking away from all that stimuli and now sitting with, I mean, there's a funny joke going around, and if you're a man or a woman and you have a good joking, we like to joke here, and we love comedy too. So if you guys get offended by this, then get out of here. Don't listen to the podcast anymore. But it's funny because it's like, from a man's perspective or a woman's perspective, you guys can switch on this. It was like, oh my gosh, I was sitting on my couch watching TV, and I look over, and I didn't even know who the woman was next to me. It's my wife. I was like, hey, how are you doing today? It was like one of those funny jokes, like, yeah. Like, look around the room. Like, you probably haven't sat down with your significant other, loved one, brother, sister. It doesn't matter who it is. Now you're sitting down with them and you don't know what to say. It's like, I think we're really scared with that. We almost use the busyness of life to kind of get away from these things these days.
I know I was. Like I said,
Yeah.
I was training, work, school, home. Like, I had no time to myself at all, or even, to my girlfriend. And now it's like night and day. Like, I honestly, aside from, going out places and like meeting with friends, going to restaurants, I wouldn't even want to go back to my regular life. Like, this free time is what I need, honestly. It's awesome.
It's scary awesome.
Besides all the people dying, but yeah.
Right. I think the community understands what we're trying to say there. But we have to clarify, yeah. Right? But I think that's a big thing too. It's like, I was just talking to Carrie Ann, the community. If you guys should know this by now, Carrie Ann's my girlfriend. And I was talking to her, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think we're going to go back to the way her and I were, like going out or just messing with money here and there and tossing it away and kind of just forgetting about it. And like, this has really taught me, I mean, like, wow, like I lost all my in-person clients, so like I had to take a really big step back, and I'm looking at it like, I don't know, this thing kind of works. Like, I think I was being that greedy American, and I saw it. I could sit back and look at it like, I was kind of being a dick with who I was as a person, and like just spending money and not caring about things, and something will come back. And I don't like that. So I'm hoping that I'm come out of this with this newer me,
Right.
I think a lot of people should kind of look at it that way as well. I want to ask you about, so you're in accounting now, like you said, but you're a firefighter? Is that what you're trying to get into now?
So I majored in accounting, at the University of St. Francis, and I've been in accounting for probably a year and a half now. And about a year, I decided it's just not for me. Like, I love the people I work with. They're the greatest, some of the greatest people I ever met. We have great conversations, great connections, but it's like you, like Jordan Peterson says, you have to pursue what's meaningful, not what's expedient. So I was looking at my life like, yeah, sure, I'm cashing in this sweet check every 2 weeks, but I'm commuting to work, miserable. I'm typing numbers in the computer, not what I want to do. I want to do something with my life that actually means something, and that I can go to work every day and, be excited. And for my whole life, I want to be a firefighter. My girlfriend has step parents and real parents. All four are firefighters. I mean,
Really?
I have a pretty good understanding. I went through EMT school. I did ride time with fire departments. I'm in the fire academy right now. So I think it's what I want to do with my life. And I think it'll, actually give me that meaning towards life, and not just, cashing that check in and being miserable in a sense.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I had no idea about your girlfriend's parents. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's like,
Yeah.
you can just ask them tons and tons of questions about what the hell you're going through, right?
They all told me it's the greatest career you can ever go into in your life. You'll get the most out of anything you ever do.
That's awesome, man. And like myself, you are definitely very goal orientated, and you just want more out of this life. I know you and I have had, man, how many thousands and thousands of conversations. I mean, shit, we were just texting the other day for 45 minutes straight on like, what's going on here, what's going on there, and what things that you've been through in your life, and how we can look at it in a better perspective. But you've always been that one guy that I can relate to. Doesn't matter age, obviously, but you've always wanted something more. And I think that's a big thing, man. So kudos to you on that as well, man. Do you feel like there's always something out there that we need to be striving for? Is that one of your goals in life?
Yeah, and that's actually what pushed me to do it. I mean, I graduated. When I graduated, it kind of felt like I wasn't moving towards anything. It was like I was going to work. That was it. And it was my whole life I was working for something. I was in high school, and I was working to get accepted to go in college to play football. I got accepted. I wasn't starting my freshman year. I worked towards starting as a sophomore and started throughout my college career. And then I had to work towards, getting a good job, and I got the job, and I'm just, stagnant for the first time in my life, just sitting there. And I was like, this is, just not what I want to continue doing the rest of my life. And, firefighting has always been in my head, being a paramedic, being a firefighter. And I just, it was scary, but I pulled the trigger. It was a very scary move on my part, but I think it was the right move.
I don't think it should be scary though, man. I think it's scary for you because it's probably changed, right? But for your age, man, like this is the
Oh,
time where you need to fail 10 times over before you even reach 30. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of young kids look at what you're looking at about the change being scary. But as far as like the whole basket of being scared of what could be going in that bad, it's like, this is the time to fail. And I think you should
yeah.
always fail forward, and if you're not moving forward, then you're stagnant. I think that's a scary thing too. When you said, there was no fulfillment in your life. There was nothing that you were doing like that thought right there. People take that for like 30, 40, 50 fucking years down the road. And then when they're 60, they're like, shit, I'm stuck,
Yeah.
and I think at 24, man, I think that's a great fucking move.
There was a lot of different aspects of being scared. Like you just said, I was scared of not taking the chance and then being stuck there. Because as time goes on, I'm 20, I'm 30. It gets scary and scarier and more riskier. I'll have a mortgage when I'm older. It's going to get a lot riskier. But then I was also scared in a sense, what if this is the wrong move? Like, I have a secure job right now. I'm getting paid well. I'm, finally paying my loans off. I'm getting a nice paycheck. What if this is the wrong move? So, it was both ways. I was scared, and then, I just, pros and cons it and just jumped through it. I just did it. That was the key. I just did it. I stopped thinking and I just went for it. What I felt was right.
I think that's that's the only thing you can do, right? And it might suck to get into something like this and have to pull out if you don't like it, but you can't. And you said something very important. If I can digress, I should have wrote it down, but I think you said you were scared in a sense of not taking action or not doing it, doing it. That's regret, man. That's the fucking definition of regret, because if you're scared that you're not going to do it, and then you continue down this path that you don't want to do, next thing you know, you're fucking having regret about not trying to do it. Because like you said, I'm 38. I can't be a firefighter right now. That time has passed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not to mention take my journey out of it. It's just, I think there's an age thing, right? You have to be certain
33.
age. Yeah. See, just like that. So for me, that's like me saying, like, if I was at your age, oh, I'll just do it later. Next thing I know, I'm 38 and that was 33. And I'd be like, fuck, man, I should have done it. I was too scared. That has turned into regret. Now that kind of weighs on you. It takes a lot of work to get that out of your head. You know what I'm saying?
Life is trial and error. That's it. I might not like it. I think I'm going to really enjoy it, and I think this is the right career for me, but I might not like it. It's trial and error. I'm going to find something else. You're going to move on. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're gonna love it though, man. I mean, like every day you're learning something. Every day there's something different,
Oh.
Yeah, will being a rookie suck for the first year or two. Yeah. Sure. But what else is it? You got to earn your fucking stripes,
The moment I knew I was gonna like it was so EMT is the first step. So you're an EMT.
Okay.
And it takes about half a year, and then you go to the fire academy for half a year, and then you go to paramedic school for a year, and then you officially have all the requirements to be a firefighter. So this was probably my third week in EMT in probably this past September, and I was in clinicals in the ER at Christ, and I'm a new kid, dude. I've been in accounting. I have no medical background in my life, and then all of a sudden, a patient comes in the ER with a gunshot wound, multiple in his whole body. Young kid. And all of a sudden I'm standing there in the middle of this whole procedure, observing. They crack the chest open. They're doing CPR on an open heart. And I'm standing right there. I have no medical experience. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then sadly, the kid passed away. And right when he passed away, they look at me and the other EMT I was with, we were both observing at the time. They go, do you want us to teach you how to massage the heart, CPR on the heart open? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I got to go in the body with the chest cracked open and do CPR on a heart. It was the coolest thing. And like, all the people I've told were like, oh my God, how do you do that? That is disgusting. I would throw up. And that's how I know I'm going to fucking love it. That was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. And dude, I'm so excited to do that for the rest of my life. I think it's going to be fucking awesome.
Dude, that's so badass, man. Yeah, there's no way I would have been on the floor. I would have been straight on the floor, man. I don't do good with open bodies, dude. I can't even watch it on TV.
It's fucking crazy.
Dude, that's so wild, man. Well, hopefully you never really have to be in that situation. That seems like a pretty fucking horrific situation. But I guess that's kind of how it is, right? Like, you have to learn somehow, and that's usually how it's going to learn. You're not going to learn when they're trying to save someone like that.
Yeah,
so
that's the exciting part about the job is you never know what's going to happen in your day. You have no fucking clue. Like that happened one day, and then another day we were at the fire department, and someone called because their bird got stuck in a tree, and they wanted us to come help them. Like, you have no fucking clue what you're going to do. Like, and that's what I want in my life. You got to dance on the line of order and chaos. That's how you live a meaningful life. You got to dance on that line. And I was just sitting I was, sunbathing in order, just clocking in my, job every day, doing the same old. And I don't like a boring life. That's not me, dude. I'm an adventurer. I want to go out and just, live my life and do whatever the hell I want to do and just have everything different.
I think it's a big thing when we finally realize something, that we have the realization of like, hey man, and I'm not saying anything bad about anyone who has a 9-to-5 that enjoys it, that loves to make, $30,000 to $50,000 a year and goes to Disney with their kids. That's fine. That's not what we're saying. Yeah. We're not saying anything negative about that. At least you're happy. And that's what we're trying to get at right here with the entire podcast and with this community. I know that's what you want to do too. I mean, all money aside, like, I know you, Steve, like, if you're happy, you're happy, right? It doesn't matter if you're making, $30,000 a year, making $100,000 a year. Like, the money doesn't make us happy, right? And I think when people get that and they understand that or try to do that, I think that's a big thing, especially right now. A lot of people aren't working, and it's very hard to be happy. But take the quarantine out of it. Like, if you're not happy right now in quarantine with what we have and what you have, look around. If you're not happy, chances are when you come out of this, we're probably still not going to be happy if that's the type of person that you are.
Right. And that work aspect is, how many hours a week do you go to work? A shitload. That's more than half your life. you
Mm.
better be doing something you enjoy if you're taking up all that time. And that's a big part of being happy and doing what you love in your job. Like my girlfriend, she's a nurse, and she tells me stories with the biggest smile on her face, and I'm like, that is what I want. We were planning on moving like to a different state, find somewhere, and she keeps saying, I don't know if I can. I love my job so much, and that's what I want in my life, and that's what I'm chasing, and that's what I'm looking for.
I think we all do, dude. I think as much as everyone says like that's what I want. I want that. I want that. I want that. I think we should take a step back and really ask yourself if that's what you fucking want, because it's a big move to admit something like that. Like I never thought, like I'm making, just to put things in a perspective for the community, like I think I'm making 12 to $14,000 less than I was when I had my 9 to 5. And I've never said this on the podcast before, but ask me if I'm happy, motherfucker, because I give you a big old smile. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because I know it's all on me, and I know that I have a good partner that was understanding about that, and that she backs me up no matter what. And she knows. I mean, obviously, I'm going to do what I want to do to be happy. And if I said this was going to make me happy, I was miserable doing that type of thing. And I think a lot of people feel kind of stuck, and maybe they are at this point. Maybe they're going 10. They have 10 more years to retirement. I get that, but like you said, we work from like 18 to like 60. Think about that really quick. You don't even remember the time before 18, and you're sure really not going to remember a whole fucking lot after 60, 70, 80 years old. It's like, that's not fair. That's really not fair, right?
Yep.
I don't think that should be, I think we need to chase something greater in life. And I know you're doing that, man. I think you're going to love being a firefighter, bro.
I think it's a good move on my part.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So how long does that that you're schooling going through right now? Like how long does that take to get to the next level, to graduate, right? That's like the big thing.
So I'm supposed to graduate from the fire academy in like 2 weeks, but to meet the state requirements, we have to have a certain amount of practical hours, which is in person. And we were supposed to start up May 1st, but I mean they just extended it. So I mean I'm guessing I'll graduate mid-June or something, and then if all goes well with the quarantine, I'll start paramedic school in August, this upcoming August, and I'll graduate that next May. So May 2021, I'll be finished with everything.
Sweet. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's fast.
Now, when does the process have to be put in for like applications and stuff? Like soon after that, or do they do placements or?
So it's always different. Like I just got accepted to test at fire departments in Arizona,
Ooh.
and they have all states are different, but they have like a waiting list type thing, and you take tests where you get graded, then you do a physical test and all that fun stuff, and you get graded on a score, and then they have a big list, and then you're put on it by score, and then like fire departments can pick on it, give you a call. Hey, we want you based on if you have a bachelor's, you were in the military and all that stuff. And then like Arizona, it'll be that list for 2 years. So I'll be on the list for 2 years if I don't get picked. And then they do it every 2 years.
Okay.
So I could start now and be like, I could go test somewhere and be like, hey, I don't have all my stuff, but I'll have it May 2021.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, cool. We might not even be hiring until then. We're just testing now. So it's kind of not really a set in stone process. It's different for every state, different every department's, what they want.
Yeah. Is that just like, you just got to continue to fill out applications of where you want to be, right? You just got to keep putting them out there in the world, right?
You might get hired in 3 months, and it
Yeah.
might take you 5 years to get a job. It's that great of career. Guys are staying at departments till they retire. They're in that place for 30 years. So it's pretty tough to get a job, but once you get a job, you're with it. So, might be fast, might take a while. Well, that's why you got to test everywhere.
Yeah, dude, no doubt, right? Until you get that right job. So with training now, you said you're still working out a lot and everything like that. Like you obviously have a good gym you can go to during this quarantine time. Where did the love of the gym and the strength and conditioning do? Because I know you guys train hard as shit, and I think I said that last time when I was on a podcast with your brother, that he's invited me out many a times, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with you motherfuckers. You guys are crazy, bro.
Yeah.
But where did that passion come from of strength and conditioning for you?
So it happened the same as Ross. Ross was probably in 8th grade when he was starting football, so that makes me in 6th grade. And like he said, our parents just did not want us to play football. That they wanted us to play baseball. They just wanted us to be safe. And then finally Ross somehow convinced them to let him play football. So they signed me and both my brothers up to Cardinal Fitness. It was on Route 30. And I just started lifting weights. I mean, I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I was hitting – I used to just go in the circle and hit every machine every day. And that's all I would do. And it just progressed. And I blew up in high school. I was fucking huge. I was strong as shit. And then that just pushed me to go to college. And then finally being on a real training program with a strength coach in college, even though it wasn't the best, it was way better than a high school strength coach, not a high school coach, not even a strength coach.
Right.
So, and then my numbers just started flying up. And then Ross really fell in love with, programming type side. And I was basically his guinea pig. We've been training together. We both went to University of St. Francis and played football together. So we've been training together since 2014 consistently. And yeah, I've been his guinea pig. And ever since then, I mean, when the numbers get higher, it just gets more fun. And you're just chasing more numbers. Like for how long were we chasing 600, me and Ross deadlift?
Long time.
And then it's so funny. He pulled 600 one week and he goes, I wasn't there for it. I was out of town, and he texted me, he's like, just pulled 600 pounds. I'm like, one, what the fuck? You didn't like wait for me. I'm like, two, that's fucking awesome. He's like, you got to pull it now. I show up the next week and I pull fucking 600. It's like, it's the coolest thing. So, I mean, something's working. He's doing something right. You know what I mean?
I think it takes, like, that's the thing too with the new gym around us opening up. Well, I want to try to get a bunch of good, like, especially you get there, I want to start training with people, but dude, having good training partners around you is everything, man. I mean, that's everything.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
whether you're coachable or not, or whether that person's a coach, or whether they can, even if you have a 50% type of program, right? Even if you're you're okay at programming and you don't know how to really program to move up every 8 to 12 weeks, having a partner is going to push you well beyond your own capable means, right? Don't you think that's like a great thing to have as a great trainer? Like you probably, can you admit that you wouldn't be where you're at without your bro right now?
Oh, not even close.
Right.
I'd probably be doing, barbell curls, just trying to get big arms. Like, it's just, everyone go watch the Westside Barbell documentary on Netflix or Amazon, whatever it's on. That's exactly what you need. Like, Louis Simmons broke his fucking leg and they pulled him in. All right, we're max benching. He broke his back. They pulled him in the next fucking day. You're lifting. We're going to fix it. Like, you need to surround yourself with that exact environment. And that's, I hope we can cultivate that environment. That'll be fucking crazy. It takes you to the next level.
I think we'll definitely be able to. And it's just one of those things, like, that you have to have consistency, right? What's a great way to control consistency? Have the same people around you that want to be consistent with your consistency. So It's like you keep getting all these people around you that want as much as you do and want to push you, want to see you succeed. Like, I always say that to everybody too. Like Steve, I want to see you succeed in life. Like, I really do. If I can do anything to help you out, that's why we're here, right? And a lot of people don't get that in like a friendship in their circle. And I think cultivating that culture and like having people around you that want to succeed, like, that helps you out even in life, man.
Right. And even having a training partner, it keeps you so accountable, and that's how you get better. We train early as fuck. Like, we're up at 4:30, and 90% of the time I don't want to be up. Right. And if I trained alone, I easily could hit that snooze alarm and just go back to sleep. But I got Ross waiting for me at the gym. I got my little brother waiting. I got people waiting for me. If I don't show up, I'm getting shit. And that's one part. And then another aspect is, you're in the gym, you don't always think or want to pick up that heavy ass weight. If we're doing like 5 by 5 deadlift at 550 and Ross puts on 555, I'm fucking doing it. And if I was alone, there's probably no chance I would have put that on my own. Like, they're going to push you to just reach different levels, and you need to find somebody or multiple people. That's even better, but you got to find it. You can't be alone in it. It's a long road. I've been lifting for 11 years and I'm 24. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy. And I've had the same training partner for probably 8 of those years. You got to find the right person. And once you do, it's prime example. It's takeoff.
Yeah, definitely, dude. 100%. But I want to clarify to the community, when and you could probably clarify this for them too. When we say 5 more pounds, or they're gonna push you to pick up that barbell because you don't want to, we're not necessarily saying, you're gonna hurt yourself if they want you to hurt yourself.
Right. There's a point where you know what you can and can't do, but
Right.
there's always that little window you could do a little more, and without that person or those people, you're not going to do it. I mean, you're always going to find that little excuse like, ooh, my back hurts a little bit, like I'm going to take it light today, but you can fucking do it.
Yeah, and like you said, accountability, right? And I think that's like the big overarching like theme of like the podcast, like accountability is everything, man. Like, you let people down around you, guess what? They're going to look at you differently. But that says a lot about oneself, right? Like, if you can hold people accountable, and they can, try to hold you accountable for you to be better, and you can hold them accountable for them to be better. It's one of those things like, man, like we're forming something here that not a lot of people do. And it's with training partners, it's tough, man, because I've been there. I've dropped a ton of training partners in my life, and I'm a solo guy. I have been a solo trainer myself, trained by myself. And I can't, it's one of those things, like every time I tried to rely on somebody, it wasn't there. So like, you may search for a while, man. You may search for a while. I think you were very lucky to run into your bro that he's doing the same thing, but you got to try things out, man. Maybe the person that you're training with right now isn't the right person.
Right.
I think that's one of the things where we just got to you got to find out what works best for you. I mean, if you have to constantly wait on somebody, that's not going to work.
Fuck that.
You can't.
If they don't have the respect for you in that sense, they don't have the respect for that training. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, 100%.
Find someone that's going to be there on time, not going to miss a workout, not going to bitch out. It's simple rules. It's very simple.
Yeah, and you did bring up Louis Simmons, so I want to talk a little bit about that. I know that you and your bro went to Westside Barbell, and you guys did go to Ohio for like a weekend, right? Like, how was speaking of not letting your partners bitch out? Now that's a place where you show up, or you can fucking go home, and that's it. Or they kick you out there. So how did that come about, and then what did that mean to you, and how did that change the way you kind of look at training?
So Ross actually had the connection. He emailed Westside, I think a handful of times, and they never answered. And then he just gave it one more shot, and they finally answered. I think Tom Berry answered him. And he's like, yeah, come out this weekend. And it happened to be Thanksgiving weekend. And we told my mom, sorry, Mom, we're not going to be at Thanksgiving this year. We're going to Columbus, Ohio. So Ross said I can tag along, so I went with. And the first time stepping in there was kind of fucking scary, because it's not like a commercial gym where, there's a front desk and, hi, I'm here to see so-and-so. You open the door and there's dudes fucking warming up in there, big motherfuckers. I'm talking like 6'6", 360, or you got a dude that's 5'5", but fucking just, this fucking wide, and they're lifting true weight, and they're pushing each other like crazy. And I can't even put into words what it was like, because it was so intense, but it just shows you what you can do. I mean, the atmosphere that they cultivated was a brotherhood. Like, you've seen the documentary. It's a brotherhood. They didn't take each other lightly, that's for sure. And it was definitely an experience of a lifetime, just solely for the purpose of seeing what can be done. And
right.
Just not even like what can be done, but just like anyone can fucking do it. You just got to fucking show up and do it. As simple as it is, as simple as it sounds, it's not that easy, but I'm trying to put into words what it was like, but go watch a documentary is all I can tell everybody. You'll see what the fuck it was like. And especially Ross is 230, I'm 200. I mean, we have pretty good numbers, but we're not shit compared to these guys. So, I mean, we're not lifting with them. We're lifting next to them, but it was just like holy shit, it was a big realization. We're not shit. And it was a pretty humbling experience, because, I mean, when we walk in Body Tech, our numbers are pretty high compared to other numbers. But then we walked in there, and it was a humbling experience. It's like, we're not even close to, what we can be. And it really showed you.
Yeah, man, that place looks super intimidating. I would never want to go in there. I have no purpose going in there except maybe to talk to Louis and maybe do a podcast with him. maybe before he passes, I should probably try to get in there and talk to him for a second and just let him talk for an hour. But yeah, dude, I'm glad you guys went, because I know it's changed a lot with what you guys, it's had to have like really like opened your eyes a little bit, like, holy shit, man. And not to mention, like, didn't you guys actually sat down with Louis and he talked to you guys, like, you guys have been there for 10 years already. Didn't you guys go out to eat and everything with him, and he like bought you lunch and shit?
It was awesome. We showed up the first day, and I mean, he walked in, everyone's like, hey, what's up, Louis? Like, what's up? And then we went over, introduced ourselves, and he's like, oh, nice to meet you. All right, let's go on this rack over here. And then we did box squats, deadlifts, jumps. We did the inverse curl. We did the belt squat and all that. And then he brought us to the back room, and I got it on my phone. We actually have like a podcast. I recorded the whole Ross shooting him questions and stuff. So I got that in the chamber for 2 years. But after that, he's like, you want to go out to dinner? And then he brought us out to dinner. Me, Ross, and Louis, we just sat at a table in like this little hole in a wall, just talked for a few hours. And then he's like, show up at like 5:30 a.m. at this like pancake house they always go to. We show up. He bought us breakfast, and then we trained with him again. He showed us a bunch of sled work, and then he brought us out to dinner. It was like,
jeez,
we're just two kids that just got lucky on this invite because we didn't fucking leave you alone. And this is how much time you show us. And that just shows you what that guy is. And that's why his gym is the strongest gym in the fucking world. And that goes a long way just to show you that this guy that is, the superstar in the powerlifting community is taking this much time for just two kids that showed up from Illinois. And it shows you not even through lifting, but just as being a person, how much that means. Like, how much did that change me and Ross's life? Fuckload. Like, it showed things we've never known before. And how much did it change his life? He doesn't even fucking remember us.
Nope.
And it's just that little effort of a weekend and just a few hours each day has went a mile. And that little effort, like, even just going away from powerlifting and working out, that little effort you could put towards anybody's life could, just change their life completely in no other way.
I think from everything that you watch about him, they're hardcore guys, that, but they always said, like, Louis was a father to me. Louis was like my father figure to so many dudes that walked in there. Like, yeah, they were a different type of guy. Like, they're cut from a different cloth, but they all say the same. There was grown ass men in that documentary crying because he meant so much to them. And I feel like, as rough of a guy he actually is, he is just a really nice guy that really wanted to do that and give, because you know what? You'll never have that conversation. You'll never get that same information from anybody else in the fucking world right now.
And the funny part is, if you watch a documentary, he seems like a mean motherfucker.
Right.
He sounds fucking mean. He's always an asshole to everybody. And then that's what we were nervous about. We walked in and we're like, holy shit, there's Louis Simmons. And they're like, should we go introduce ourselves? And we did. And it was like, is this the right guy? Like, you're really fucking nice. And it was actually like hilarious.
You caught him on a good day.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, we actually caught him on a horrible day. He was like,
really?
A deathbed. Like, it was, he like was white as a sheet of paper. And it was, I forgot what he said was wrong with him, but he was in there working out still. Like, it was some serious shit was wrong with him, but he was in there still.
Wow, man. And he's got to be damn near 70, right? By this time?
All I know is he's old as shit.
If you guys don't know Louis Simmons and Westside Barbell, we have nothing but good things to say about that. The documentary is amazing. The way he trains it's insane to a lot of people looking in from the outside looking in. It's very, very crazy. It's very, very cave-like. And you probably don't understand anything that he's talking about because he talks a mile a minute, if not faster. And you have to like rewind a lot. Even the early YouTube stuff, if you look that stuff up like from 15 years ago, when it's just like, obviously the first camera just came out. He was like one of the first guys to do, this type of lifting on YouTube. Like, he is talking, I have to rewind it. I'm glad this shit's recorded because it's hard to pick up what he tosses down right away. Like, have you ever heard him on Rogan's podcast?
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's like Joe's just sitting there like, what the fuck did you just say? He had no idea what he was saying.
That's how, when we recorded our conversation with him, when we were shooting him questions, that's how it was. We'd ask him one question, and he would go for 5 minutes from one thing to another thing to another thing to another. And you got to pause and be like, all right, what the hell is he talking about right now? I mean, it makes sense, but it's like he's just jumping at a million miles a minute. It's crazy.
I feel like that most guys with a mindset like that, and let's just say you take it out of the gym and you go into like an Elon Musk mindset, right? I bet he's the same way. I bet sitting down with him, he probably can't even keep, you know what I'm saying? He's probably all day long too. Same with probably a lot of other people you sit down next to, if you were to sit down to like Steve Jobs or anybody else, like I'm sure those guys are probably a mile, like Gary Vee, Jesus Christ. Can you think you sit down and listen to Gary Vee? There's no way. You'd be like, feel like the Matrix. You'd have to like download it,
They're all built different.
Yeah.
They're not regular humans. They even said that if you listen to Elon Musk when he was talking to Joe Rogan on his podcast, he said, I realized when I was like 10 years old, I'm not like everybody else. He's like, I have so many thoughts going through my mind in one day, it's actually exhausting. And I realized at 10 years old, I'm not a normal person. And I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. Like, how does one realize that at 10 years old? And two, I mean, how many companies does that guy have?
Oh, who knows anymore?
SpaceX, Tesla, he's doing an air conditioning thing. He's got solar panels. He's doing the underground subway. Like,
what's the name of the company that he's doing the rockets for? What's that? But he had like a
boring company. No, that's the flamethrower.
And the flamethrower. Why was that? Was that even a thing?
You know how much money he made off those?
No.
I think there was only a very select few, and he made so much fucking money off those. Really? And like even hats, I think he had a select number of just like hats that said boring on it for his boring company. And I think he made like $300,000 off it. They sold out in like a few hours. I mean,
just because they'll never get made again. Just like never. One, right.
It's because it's fucking Elon Musk and you want his hat that says boring on it.
I'm cool with that.
I buy
that. I'm on board with whatever that guy's doing. I think he's got like government grants now, and he's like, I'm sure by now, as much as he thinks he's in control, he probably isn't. I don't know. That's just the conspiracy guy in me. Like, he's got government contracts and dude's shooting rockets off him. Like, you can't just do that because you're a smart dude. You can't.
Yeah, like he just, I don't know, was it a year ago? He just got the grant to start digging for his subway. And like I think he just walked in, brought it up, and they're like, all right. That's when you know you're the real deal. You know what the hell you're doing when the government's like, yeah, go ahead, like, see what you can do.
Yeah, I feel it's like, man, it's got to be tough. I think as much money as these guys make, I think we don't even understand. It's not even about, like, he probably doesn't even understand how much money he has. You know what I'm saying? He's just it's here. It's probably not the greatest thing to be that smart, I would think.
He says he wish he wasn't. He said that on Joe Rogan. He wished he was this smart.
I mean, your whole day is, like, talk about ADHD, right? Or you can't even hold anything together. Like, how many people he probably has around him that like take notes all day long because he probably just spits out so much stuff. Like, he's not obviously taking notes. If he stops, he's losing money. So there's probably a lot of people around him that are just like recording him. Probably. I mean, that's what I would think.
Imagine being so smart you don't want to be that smart. That's mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. I think we need more people like him in the world, man. We really do.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do – wasn't one of the things that he wanted to do too was something with the expressways he wanted to have. I think there was an actual product out that he tried where rolling over certain parts of the expressway would actually conduct electricity for the towns that they were in.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, like it was big. I think he tried to make it into production. Someone, if you know what we're talking about, comment down below. But I think he tried to put something on the expressway or come up with this blueprint saying like when you roll over it, it actually conducts electricity, which can then be siphoned off to either the lamps on the road or back to the community or something like that.
A hamster wheel or something.
But like think about how who's buying that? Like and where do you start? Like, Jesus Christ,
That's even the thing. Like, sure, that's a great idea, but where the fuck do you even start with that?
Right.
That's even a bigger question.
We can go down that rabbit hole so much, man, but One thing I wanted to talk to you about, and what we usually do at the end of the podcast, is I usually throw people on the hot seat. You probably know what's coming, maybe you don't. But since we're coming up to the top of the hour, I want to ask you a couple of great things that people can do in quarantine that can really take their training to the next level. Something that could be either fitness, nutrition, or mindset related. This is that time on the podcast where I ask every single guest for like 3 actionable items that can be given to the community right away to really help out the community. Something to give back, since we're all about giving back here, Steve.
First, I would say is every morning go on a walk outside, specifically outside. I've been doing this for probably 3 years, and some points I find I don't even need a cup of coffee after that. So wake up, go on a walk, and be with yourself. Like I said, you need to set aside time every single day to be with yourself, and that is definitely, I mean, it kills a bunch of birds with one stone. It'll get you exercise with, the low intensity interval training for fat loss. That's great, while you're fasted specifically. 2, it'll just clear your mind. Excuse me. It'll just completely clear your mind and let you sit with your thoughts, and it's an absolutely amazing way to start your day. If I don't walk in the morning, like I didn't walk this morning, it was pouring this morning.
Yeah, it was.
And it completely just brings my day down. It's an awesome start to the day. So walk in the morning, that's number 1. 2 is read something good for you every day. It could be a book. It could be a book. It could be, an article on any app that you have, but something educational or good for you, because Twitter doesn't count. I don't count any of that. So
it's not reading.
No, either pick up a book or just find an article and sit down and read.
Right.
Because, I mean, like I said, you're either going to be mindlessly scrolling through Twitter or Instagram or any of that, non-essential stuff, or
right.
you could be just building your brain. So walk in the morning, read something that's good for you. And 3, something that I just recently started back up is taking cold showers.
Oh man, I don't know. You lost me there, dude. I don't know.
So I used to do those all the time, and they're fucking awesome. And I just started back probably 8 weeks ago. And I mean, sure, they have a bunch of, good health benefits, like reduces inflammation, speeds up recovery, speeds up fat loss. But I do it for the mental aspect, because like what you just did is, fuck, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like I do it after my walks, and sometimes I find myself on my walk thinking, holy fuck, I don't want to go home and take this cold shower. This is going to suck. This is going to be the worst thing in the fucking world. And it is. I mean, dude, it fucking sucks. I'm up to 3 minutes now, constantly turning in a circle. I'm not just standing there like,
no.
I'm moving in a circle, dunking my head under for 3 minutes straight. And what's like psychologically beneficial is you got to breathe through it. That's the only way you're going to get through it. You got to bring yourself back to your breath, not focus on the absolutely freezing, horrible cold. You got to bring yourself to your happy place and focus on just what matters is your breath, and you'll get right through it. And then that'll carry into other aspects of life. Like, me and Ross argue when we work out. Mm-hmm. And I actually bring that into when we argue. We'll get pissed at each other at the gym, and I'll realize that like this big urge of anger came up, and I'll bring myself back to my breath. The argument will be over. And it's like, it's not just let's go take a cold shower, like to sound cool. It's like just to benefit yourself and hold different other aspects of life that actually mean something. So walk every morning, read something that's good for you, cold showers.
So let's go back to the read something. What are you reading right now? Or what's something really, give me one book that everyone needs to read right now.
Here.
Yeah, please.
I'll tell you 2. First, my favorite book ever, I just started rereading it for the 3rd time, is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
It's just what it is, 12 Rules for Life. But he is so philosophically brilliant and will put these rules into aspects of your life that you won't even you would never even consider. That it truly will, every page will motivate the shit out of you to be a better person.
I think Peterson gets a bad rap because, a lot of people know him for political reasons, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people throw him under the bus of oh, he's that one asshole that doesn't believe in, perspective. perspective, right? Just like a lot of people don't fucking like Gary Vee, and you don't have to. That's great. But you know what? He says a lot of good shit that it relates not just to the entrepreneur life or entrepreneurship, but actually life in general. I think Jordan Peterson is the same exact fucking way. Don't just, don't just look at just look at the cover of the book. You know what I'm saying? Like, get inside of it. If you don't like it after a while, just don't fucking look after it anymore.
But I highly recommend that for anybody. I mean, I'm reading it for the third time. That's got to tell you something. It's life-changing. But I just got this book, The Coddling of the American Mind, by two guys, Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt. It's about how, like the safetyism culture really came alive 2012 in college campuses and the call-out culture. And now it's basically how the world has evolved to the soft culture of everybody getting their feelings hurt politically, socially. Everything's politically incorrect now, and how it emerged from safetyism culture of parents trying to raise their kids. Parents are trying to change the road for their kids, not change their kids for the road, if that makes sense. They're trying to make the entire world a safe place so their kid does not experience anything bad whatsoever, which they prove through, I can't even tell you how many studies in the book, that your kid needs to experience these things. Your kid needs to walk to the store down the street by himself. He needs to ask the stranger for directions. He needs to go climb that tree with his friend and fall off and see what happens. You can't protect your kid from everything. And one funny study actually in the book was there was a huge increase in kids having peanut allergies, and they're like, I think this was in 2013, like, what's going on? And it actually came that parents didn't want their kid to have peanut allergies, so they completely, their whole childhood, did not let them have peanuts. They just did not let them have peanuts. And what do you think happened when they ate that peanut?
Yeah.
First peanut. They got that peanut allergy. It's like that. They restricted their children their entire life from something and just kept them safe from it, quote unquote, that it actually came back and bit them in the ass and gave their kid the allergy. It's like, just like, I mean, I was going to bring, just like vaccines. It's like, you got to give your kid the flu through a vaccine so they don't get the flu. You got to
I mean, we have to be around people that we're sharing all that shit. That's how we boost our systems, man. Whether you want to admit it or not,
Yeah, you gotta have your kid hurt so it doesn't get hurt. I mean, no one's safe. No one's safe forever. You can't.
Right.
You got to.
Right. It's definitely a false positive. I think a lot of people try to push on other people as well too. But you guys, community, those two books will be linked in the show notes below, along with a lot of other stuff that we talked about today. But write those down, check those out. My last question for you is about the cold showers. Is there something you can follow? I know Wim Hof was probably the first one to like bring these things into the world of like cold showers and everything. Is there something that you can follow? What you should start doing, or is it kind of something? And like, do you warm up afterwards? Like when you're done, you just hop out freezing cold, or like there's rules to this shit, right? You don't just. If I jumped in the shower right now after this podcast for 3 minutes, I'd be so fucking mad at you right now. Like I'd be so mad.
So I follow Wim Hof. That's where I got the idea.
Okay.
And he always has, like, every few months he'll challenge people to do it. So that's how I actually got it. But start off slow. You don't have to start at 3 minutes. Like I said, I've been doing it for 8 months, and I built myself up to 3 minutes. So what he recommends is you take a regular shower, shampoo, just regular temperature, whatever you got to do, and then you turn it to whatever temperature, and start for 30 seconds. I recommended it to my girlfriend, and she barely got past 15 seconds, but you got to start somewhere. So I make myself monthly goals every month, and this month every week I increased my time by 15 seconds. So it'll be 3 minutes and 3 minutes, 15 seconds. You just got to slowly build it up and start at 10 seconds. It's right. At least do it. That's the whole aspect. Just do it. It's not about how long it's going to go. It's about just doing it. So follow Wim Hof. He shows you can do breath work while doing it. He has a ton of stuff you can do while doing the cold shower. And then he has an app. He gets into the scientific aspect of like the health. of doing the cold showers, not just the mental aspect, but like,
Right.
reducing inflammation and all that important stuff.
That's awesome, man. That's great. I think everyone should kind of try those three things out and see if they
Yeah.
like it or not. You're not going to, excuse me, you're not going to know unless you try it, right? I mean, that's like the big thing we've been talking about for the past hour is like, you got to jump into things. You have to take chances these days. Like if you don't like something that you're doing, chances are when you come out of this quarantine and you're not going to like it out of this quarantine, you're not going to like it another couple of years down the road. Like take these chances, jump in the deep end, figure it out for yourself. And if you don't like it, backpedal and, pivot and start again.
And there's a difference between not liking something and not wanting to do something that's good for you. So like I said, well, I didn't say this. I was studying for the CPA exam, and I fucking hated it. It was
Yeah.
ruining my life. It was actually making me depressed, so I stopped doing it. But I don't want to do these cold showers every morning, but it's good for me. So there's a difference between something that's going to make you grow and something that's just going to absolutely crush you. So you might, like Anthony said, you might not like these cold showers, but it's fucking good for you. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body. So don't go day one and be like, oh, fuck that. That was horrible. I'm never going to do that again. Stick with it. I remember when I first started redoing it, I hated it. I'm like, I do not want to go take the shower. I fucking love them now. There's just a feeling about getting out of that freezing cold water, into the air. You're going to build a tolerance for it, and it will change your mornings. Like I said, you're not even going to need a cup of coffee in the morning. It just wakes you up just like that. It's awesome.
I think that's a big thing too, to try to find something in place of getting up right away, dragging your feet to the kitchen, rubbing your eyes, and actually drinking coffee first thing, which we all know you're not supposed to be doing that anyway. Like
Right.
I know when it's nice outside, I go for a walk. I think I'm up now at like 5:45 since I've been sleeping in with the quarantine. But to just go, like you said, going for a walk, like to hear the birds, how loud everything is outside before the people actually get on the street and coming back home, you are really awake. Now add a cold shower to that and or stimulate your mind before the cold shower with a book or just even a couple sentences or even journaling. I think that's a big thing too, is like knock these things out in the morning. And like you said, man, success will be there for you. And I think if you start out with these routines, and the only reason why it sucked when you got back into it, because you broke your routine. You know what I'm saying? You consistently have to be consistent these days. And I think that's the biggest thing. And start somewhere, like you said, even for a walk, even for a book to read, even for the cold shower, start small in all three of those aspects. Don't just jump in. I'm going to read 50 pages because Steve and Anthony said so. That's not what we're saying. Read read 1 to 4 pages and then grow on that. Take 10 seconds shot, 10 seconds rest, 10 seconds of the cold shower, and then grow on top of that. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think that's a big thing that people have to realize.
Something important you just said is the morning routine. You read Aubrey Marcus's book, Own the Day, right?
No, you haven't let me borrow it yet.
Oh, you got to read it. Everybody, that's another book you have to read. It taught me my morning routine, which it's a whole game changer. If you don't have a morning routine, like today, for example, like I rolled out of bed and I couldn't go on my walk. It fucked up my whole day.
Right.
Like I have my routine. I get up, I go on my walk, I take my cold shower, then I make my bed, and then I get my coffee and then I sit down. And it's just like having that routine, it just puts something else in your brain that your day's ready to go now. Like you've done like your body's already awake, it's ready to go. And morning routine, that's what you need in your life.
We preach that all the time, man. You know that. I'm big on the morning routines, man. I mean, that's just getting those little wins, those little accomplishments in the morning, first thing, it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Even, and once you start like these 3 things. So community, I always ask for 3 actionable items. There's a reason. There is a reason, because you start compiling the things that work. You can go back probably 10 episodes of this podcast. People are giving you 3 things of nutrition, fitness, mindset, lifestyle changes. Start picking them apart. See what they work for you. Next thing you know, I guarantee there's someone that's been listening to this podcast that's probably doing like 8 to 10 of those things right now, just because they are consistent on doing that morning routine. That's the biggest thing in the world, man, is getting that morning set.
And be consistent with your routines. It's with like another. I mean, I could give another tip about what's helped me tremendously is make monthly goals. I have monthly goals from over a year ago, and you could see every month I keep the same goals, but I build. I do something a little more now every day. Because I have monthly goals for the day. So I have my goals on my wall for May, and then I have a calendar next to it. And if I completed my goals, there's a check mark. If I don't, a nice X goes on it. And from a year ago, my goals were this big. And now it's a list this big. But I've implemented them for so long, they're not even goals anymore. It's just a part of my day. And if I don't do it, it fucks with me so hard. I can't even explain it. I just do not feel right if I don't complete those goals. So one thing is make monthly goals. It'll change your life. It'll give you a purpose in life, not just to lax, and it'll keep you accountable most of all. Without goals, I would just kind of be walking like a zombie throughout life. And I don't want to take that shower, whatever. I'm not going to do it. And what kills me is if I don't take that shower, I got to put an X on that calendar that's next to my bed, and that'll fucking kill me. So that's definitely
that's that regret thing we're talking about, man. That's exactly what it is. Well, Steve, hey man, we could do this again for another couple hours, but thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. It's truly my honor to have you on, man. So thank you so much for your time and your energy. Oh, dude, it was awesome, man. Yeah, we got to get you back on sometime soon. And you guys stick around for coffee talk on this Sunday. I think you guys are gonna love it. But Steve, hey man, thank you so much for being on, bro. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Until next time, community. Take care.